that you can touch and feel.
The problem of hunger is more urgent and dangerous than land and houses. Children will cry when they are hungry, and the parents will riot in the streets when there is no rice on their table. The challenge has always been how to bring technology from the laboratory to the ground. How do you transfer technology to 2 million subsistence rice farmers, mostly uneducated, with small land holdings, living in remote areas without adequate transport facilities? With a lack of scale and connectivity, the farmers cannot provide quality of life to their 10 million dependents, much less feed a whole nation of 84 million Filipinos. It is ironic that the bulk of our food providers are also the lowest and the poorest in the food chain. This is normal in a capitalist society like the Philippines that lacks a social conscience and moral leaders, where most of the economic benefits are reaped by the few who control capital, production, trade, and distribution. Without the strongest political will and the most dramatic change in our values that promote a culture of greed and corruption, the rapidly increasing population and the accompanying need for food and social services will be like dead weights that will prevent the country from rising. As ordinary citizens, we cannot tell government what to do. Politics in our country is not sensitive to public opinion. Governance in our version of democracy is not about leadership, but about winning elections and staying in power. But hunger is not a problem that people will accept quietly. Although 20% of our population classified as extremely poor have endured hunger silently in the past, they will join organized protest and cause chaos in the streets the moment stores are empty of rice and food items. This is not just a local situation, but a global threat. While the war against poverty and hunger is global, we must fight local. We must have a strong command post supporting our ground troops. For Central and Northern Luzon, that is the Central Luzon State University. In Southern Luzon, our command post is UP Los Baños. The goal is to build a culture of productivity. Every home should be self-sufficient, even with a limited land area. We will ally with the local government, not just to do land banking for houses, but also for food sufficiency. We can imagine all this because the GK communities we have built have become platforms for development. What we have done is to liberate the poor from the culture of greed, exploitation, and oppression. We will make it difficult for the people in our rural areas to leave their town because they already have land security, a decent home, enough food for their children, trust in their mayor, and pride in their town. Our relationship with these communities are our supply lines in this battle. Our victory will be in showing the world what they will become. The battle plan is clear and simple. First, every home will plant the 5 basic vegetables for their basic needs, for food sufficiency according to the regional taste and the most nutritious in the food groups. Second, every Gawad Kalinga community in the rural area should have communal and eventually commercial lots for integrated farming. This should include planting of fruit trees and vegetables, poultry, livestock, and aquaculture. While every community will be a micro-development, our goal eventually is to create a macro system for production, distribution, and even export. But key to all of this is social justice. We must always remind ourselves who we are fighting for. In fighting for the poor, we are fighting for our children. If we neglect the poor, our children will inherit a country that cannot provide them opportunities for a better life. A country where there will be no guarantee of food on their table or safety in the streets. A country of squatters, beggars, and corrupt politicians. A country that they will be ashamed of. You know, the brightest and the best of our people, the CEOs, the heads of corporations, we have over 400 major corporate partners in Gawad Kalinga. And also the brightest and the best are sharing the most of the resources to the least of our brethren. We will create wealth, but we will also practice enlightened capitalism where people will spread that wealth, so no one will be left behind.
Salamat kami, mga Gawad Kalinga. bunuhay sila, huwag kami pag-asa. Nakapagsadaan kami. Kalipay sa amin. Kung napigado kami, pagaan ng malay. Pagaan lawas ng vlog nga, ng kabataan. Buro tabang kami niya. Ngayon malipay yun.
As I mentioned po kanina, in my family, ako yung pinakamagaling na mayor because I found Gawad Kalinga through a calendar. When I was mayor po in 2004, no mayor, 2004 po yata yun. Medyo may edad na po ako kaya medyo makakalimutin na rin. So in 2004, I saw a calendar. Ang sabi ko, ang ganda ng pictures ng mga bahay, colorful yung design at saka yung mga landscaping ng mga paligid po. So, that time, my chief of police was a member of Couples for Christ. Babae din po. And sabi niya, Gawad Kalinga yan. Sabi ko, ano yung Gawad Kalinga? And she told me na, this is the work ng Couples for Christ na we build houses for the poor. And sabi ko sa kanya, papaano? Papaano natin ito magagawa? So sabi niya, I'll try to talk to the members and then I will tell them that you are interested. So, yun na po yung nangyari. And you know what? After a day or two, meron na pong dumating sa amin na mga taga GK National and I made them wait pa nga because I was in Baguio that time. We had a meeting with the ADB partner po namin ni Mayor Sonia sa aming mga bayan, ang ADB. So, pinaghintay ko sila but they were good enough to wait for me. So that day, pinag-usapan po namin kung ano ang Gawad Kalinga and how we will do it in our town. Nung una, medyo parang nagdududa rin po ako. Hindi pa po ako 100% na sold because we will give free houses, free na lupa sa mga taong naghihirap sa aking bayan. And nakita ko po noon yung my great-grandfather, my father, at lahat na po nag-mayor sa pamilya namin, yung mahirap na iniwan around the lake ng bayan ng Cabiao na isang paraiso para sa aming bayan ay ginawang tapunan ng basura. Yung mga tao po doon na nakatira pag umuulan, basa, pag umaaraw, tuyong-tuyo sila. Sabi ko, I think Gawad Kalinga is the best gift that I can give these families. Dahil ayaw po nilang iwanan yung lake dahil doon sila nabubuhay. Ayaw talaga nilang umalis, takot sila. So, we started talking kung ano na ang gagawin namin, yung steps na gagawin namin, hanggang dumating na po kami sa pakikipagdialogo sa mga pamilyang ito at ayaw nilang maniwala. Sabi nila, pinopolitika lang kayo ni Congco. After nyo ma-relocate, magbabayad kayo dyan at yan ay magiging village ni Congco. And my own Sangguniang Bayan member said, Mayor, sinong sirang ulo ang tutulong sa bayan mo na hindi mo kababayan who will support you financially and build houses with us. Ang sabi ko, ito ay para sa ating mga kapatid na naghihirap. If God wants this to happen in our town, it will happen. Walang masama kung susubukan natin ito. True enough, dumating na po yung araw, nagkasundo-sundo kami, nagkaroon na po kami ng lunch. That time kasi we started as breakfast meeting to talk about GK, to invite possible funders in the community. Alam niyo po, yung aming, instead of breakfast meeting, naging siyang merienda forum sa bayan ng Cabiao. Kinausap ko si Mayor Sonia because she's my twin mayor, she's my neighbor town. Ayaw rin niyang maniwala nung una, but dahil kaibigan niya ako, kailangan niyang mag-oo at maniwala. So, ganun lang po yung nag-start yung GK sa amin. Until other mayors, including our governor that time, I was telling him na very eager ako magkwento. Parang si governor, ha? Ano? O sige, baka sakali. Parang ganun lang po yung nangyari sa amin. So, dumating na yung merienda forum namin. Day before, talagang umulan, bumagyo. And that time, yung pong munisipyo namin, wala pa kami nitong mga ganitong klaseng facilities. Ang sabi ko, manggagaling pa sa Manila lahat yung gagamitin namin for the presentation. But it was really raining. Sabi po sa akin ng husband ko, sabi ng members ng Sanggunian, huwag mong ituloy, Mayor, nakakahiya ka, umuulan, sinong tao ang pupunta dyan? Sabi ko, nakaset na lahat, and again, my faith, if God wants this to happen, it will happen. So no one stopped me from doing yung merienda forum namin. So, ulan pa rin. The following day, sabi sa akin, mag-announce na ako sa radio na sabihin ko na hindi matutuloy yung merienda forum for Gawad Kalinga because it was really raining. Alam niyo po, mga 10 to 12, I was taking my shower, hindi ko nararamdaman